gridiron fanatics out there. Glad you could join us here for another edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style. Where we gab about all things pro football, from the scoops of the regular season to the scores of the postseason and the picks in the offseason. Let's start gabbing.
The autumn winds move like the thunderous waves of Neptune's sacred palace. And here, amongst the blackened soil, lies the ragged hands, worn, torn, and callous. They await with cunning and vicious prowess, for the warriors have returned.
Come on, Dutch! Don't do it! Woo! No way! Woo! 85! Crying out loud! You're kidding me! You're driving me nuts!
But behold,
Welcome back, you guys. Thank you for joining us once again. I am, of course, Mr. CeeLo here, giving you the lowdown and the breakdown on Divisional Saturday.
You lost today, kid. It doesn't mean you have to like it.
You're a stupid dumbass.
As you guys know, I picked the Texans to pull the upset over the Ravens, and the Ravens ended up walking the dog on the Texans, 34-10.
Dumb shit! Dumb shit!
It's not funny. Hey, shut up!
You know, when I walked in and said that the Texans were going to win this game, now, the 34 points, people are going to look at that and say, well, they didn't have much of a chance. No, this game got ugly in the fourth quarter. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you're a fan of the Houston Texans, the one thing you should be disappointed in. You should be disappointed in the way Bobby Slowick called this game.
What the
I mean, this game was not well managed at all. That's just my opinion. I didn't see a lot. Listen, I understand you want to pick those intermediate throws because that is what C.J. Stroud excels at. But in my opinion, you have to get to a point where you're basically challenging Baltimore's defense. Now, you're making Michael McDonald look like a daggum genius out there. And I mean, that's not good. Because he's not. We can sit here and we can say that, oh, he's a Wink Martindale's predecessor, or so on and so forth. But the reality of it is the Baltimore Ravens live and die by the blitz. You have to challenge them deep, so they have to play honestly. And you had guys that can get down the field. I mean, I don't understand where the whole John Mechie effect was. I don't think he had a target tonight. And see, that is a problem. You have to put Mechie on the field and make him a problem. Now, I know I'm jumping right into this because that's the way you guys like it. This was the worst showing C.J. Stroud has had since, I think, the Carolina game weeks ago. Now, Stroud outpassed Lamar Jackson again. And, yeah, Jackson ran for 100 yards. And that was the other problem I had. Jackson did have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns running the football. But what I did not understand is why you did not force the issue with C.J. Stroud in creating some movement with his legs. You did that great in the first half. And I remember thinking to myself, when the game was 10-10, I remember thinking, okay, well, Baltimore's looked like they've handled this, but and even the Texans had a chance to go into the half with a 13-10 lead. You know, Fairburn misses that chip. Well, it's not a chip shot, but it was a short field goal late at the end of the first half, and it was just like, oh my goodness! And it almost felt like the wind had gotten sucked out of the building to a degree. I remember sitting there thinking, oh, that's going to be huge. But you watched how aggressive this defense was. They didn't sack C.J. Stroud once, and that's the thing. He does not hold the football. This is something you cannot blame on C.J. Stroud. Okay? Slowick, this is on you. You have to get to a point where you're calling plays that's going to force this Ravens defense to say, oh, wait a minute, we can't keep just bum rushing up this way. Because you could not run the football. Now, I get it. You had some good creative plays, but the problem is when you saw the multitude of exchanges wasn't going to work, keep it simple. Have one. No more than two. But when you go into multitude, you're over showing your hand. You don't want to do that. You want to keep it simple. Keep it as simple as you can, but make them make mistakes. I didn't see a single draw. I didn't see a single running back screen. That may be something you have to address because, as I said before, as much as I like Dameon Pierce early on, this injury bug has plagued him. And I'm going to be honest with you. Now that you guys are going home, I would love nothing more than to do a show on what you guys need to do in the draft. Because there's 3 or 4 players I think you guys could definitely use. Maybe you'll take the Heat. Maybe you won't. But as I said, I watched Baltimore. And Baltimore, people are going to say, oh, they look dominant. And in the fourth quarter, they look like they just pulled away. You know, and there's a lot of people saying, oh, they had that rust and it took them a minute to get it going. I'm just going to say it for what it is. They play this way against Buffalo and Kansas City. They're going to lose. Because the score is not indicative of how close this game was. The Texans were inches from making big plays all night. There were plays where balls got tipped just enough to throw them off. Brevin Jordan would have had a huge play. There was a play that was almost intercepted, but Brevin Jordan catches this football. There's nothing but green grass in front of him, and one of the defenders for Baltimore got his hand up and tipped it just slightly, and it went sideways and fell incomplete. So, as I said before, this game was lost because they did not take their shots. Same thing with, in my opinion, with Baltimore. I believe the Ravens were very fortunate DeMeco Ryans did not do what he did earlier, which was spy Lamar Jackson before they went up 10-3. Had he went to that spy routine early on, we would have had a problem with that. And then, of course, Will Anderson left this game. That was a huge deal as well. And as I say, Christian Harris had a great game. 7 tackles and a tackle for loss. He was the guy that I thought did a phenomenal job playing the spy routine that he was the spy assignment. Excuse me. And as I said, you're watching this team in this game unfold. It was a phenomenal game. Not even predicated on what the score said, what you saw in the score. I thought Baltimore did a great job in imposing their will running the football. I can't even take that from them. But you're talking about a team that ran for over 200 yards, but 100 of it belonged to the quarterback. So, but I will say when they needed first downs down the road, they were able to get them. Down to the wire, they were able to get the run game going. Justice Hill had 66 yards on 13 carries. Gus Edwards 10 for 40. And even Dalvin Cook was getting fed the football. But then, like I said, many times you look at this receiving core. That's not going to get it done against Buffalo. Because I tell you right now, Mahomes ain't throwing it down the field that much because he's gotten used to everybody playing him that way. But Josh Allen's going to throw this thing down the field. You're not going to, and if they get Gabe Davis back, now he's not playing tomorrow. But Baltimore better fix some things with that defense, because if they come with that kind of a flagrant coverage that they did today, they're going to get beat.
What a dumbass!
That's as simple as that. But as I said, Lamar Jackson, as many other people have said, they believe that this had won him the MVP more than likely. Isaiah Likely had a Moss moment on his touchdown grab as he hopped over the defender for a touchdown. Nelson Aguilar had a touchdown score, receiving touchdown as well. Raekwon Smith had a good game on the defensive end with 7 total tackles. Patrick Quinn had 5 tackles. Kyle Hamilton had some big plays early. But they didn't have any sacks. And I think this speaks to some of the pass blocking of the Houston Texans, but I also look at it as the ability of C.J. Stroud to escape and manipulate the pocket. He's going to be so great if he... I think ultimately, looking at the Texans, as I said on the other show, is I think they're going to need another guard. They're going to need 1 or 2 more guards, because to me that was a weak spot in their game today. But congratulations to the Houston Texans on a phenomenal surprise year, as they have nothing to hang their heads about. They are going to be here, in my eyes, they're going to be here for a couple more times, and they're going to do their thing. And as I said, all you can do is look back at it and say, hey, we didn't get it done. We just have to wait and come back and be ready for next season. And that's what we have to do. This is not an easy thing to do, is to leave and say, hey, we've got to go back and find out what we did wrong. But like I said, George Fant was not good tonight. He was not good. Looked like he was beat on several plays. But looking at what Baltimore's got to do, they got home field. And as most people will say, and I'm not going to throw any shade at Lamar Jackson, I think he's a good player. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like a lot of analysts will do. I still think that he's not impressive enough to win a ring. He's very fortunate to play behind the defense that he has. And I think a lot of that success that he has, he makes just enough plays to score. And a lot of people are going to say, well, it's not how you do it as long as you get the W. Well, we'll see. But like I said, Jim Harbaugh is 1 game away from the Super Bowl. And I think they have the defense to do it. The question is, will they be able to hold up if they get a team like the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills? And we've seen throughout history they have not been able to hold up. But we shall see. Great design by Todd Monken. And he was exceptionally great at calling the plays again tonight. The same thing he did at Georgia. I'm very impressed with him. Todd Monken is going to continue to be that type of play caller where he's got the defenses confused. He has you on your heels. He does it's like he picks whatever it is your weakness is out there, and he's going to test it. It's like he goes up to a wall and says, strong, 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 weak, weak, weak. And he stays on that. If you notice, he saw they were struggling with Houston. They were struggling with doing anything, so they just said, hey, let's run Lamar. Let's run Lamar. And it's a great strategy. So, my hat's off to Todd Monken, who may not be there very long. I mean, I'm not surprised he's getting phone calls for head coaching positions. But anybody that is calling Bobby Slowik, pump your brakes. That is all I'm going to say. Pump your brakes. Because he showed today that he is not... He's just had a pretty good run with guys that didn't know him. Slowik's not ready for the head coaching position. This was a horribly offensively called game. And Mike McDonald's got to show me he can keep this up against the elite quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud's not there yet. but he's also got to get his feet wet. But anyway, Baltimore wins it 34-10. That's going to do it for us, you guys. Check out the Facebook, you guys. Go there and check out all the great things we got going on, and even working on our first live on Facebook. And also go to my Instagram, you guys, and see if I can go live there as well. We'll try to do a joint live stream there soon. And also comment underneath the show. You guys, I've got so many of you that have been hitting us up. I want you guys to, we're going to try to get a couple of you guys on so we can have this dialogue. I really enjoy it. And you guys remember to stay warm. We know it's cold. But until the next time, same Gab platform, same Gab channel.
But behold, there is a warm breeze that comes from the west. The blazing sounds of victory fuel their everlasting quest. It is a call to arms, for they are here. An army that has the will to challenge and the will to dare.